What's up, guys? Coming at you live from late night. Usually I record these, pretty well in the day when it's quieter in the house, but today you're getting one almost at midnight. Going to be talking about the new Daredevil episode. I just finished watching it about 3 seconds ago. Just the first episode, not the second one. I haven't seen the second one yet because I'm probably going to go to bed and watch it tomorrow. But I wanted to go ahead and give my thoughts on the first episode and get them out while they're still fresh on the oven. So obvious going to be spoilers for the first episode and spoilers for probably all the major plot points of the first Daredevil show that was on Netflix. So I didn't watch Daredevil when it came out. I started watching it this year. I watched it, probably around like November, December. Yeah, probably November-ish. I started watching it. Really, really enjoyed it. Really liked it. One of the better Marvel shows. Probably one of the better superhero shows, really. I thought it was great. It had its problems. I kind of felt the pacing could have been a little better. I wasn't a big fan of certain dynamics, but still great. Charlie Cox is fantastic as Daredevil. Vincent, I think, is D'Onofrio. Phenomenal Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. It's great. Really, really liked it. Man, I thought it ended perfectly. Literally the only thing that it set up was Bullseye coming back for season 4, which got canceled. But I thought season 3 ended great. So Daredevil Born Again seems to be a straight continuation of the last show, which is great. It is in the greater MCU, so I do wonder, if they're gonna talk about, I don't know, Thanos and the blip or whatever, or the multiverse even. But either way, it's a continuation. First episode, I liked it a lot. Thought it was great. Fair warning, I did not watch Hawkeye. I know Kingpin was in Hawkeye. I know he tried to mentor someone and he got shot in the face. That's all I know. I need to watch Hawkeye. I will probably watch it sometime this week because there's only one season. So I might be missing some context, but it was really interesting watching this again, seeing a new light with some Disney budget. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. First 10 minutes, they killed off one of the two main characters from the last show, and I have to wonder if it's because he wasn't able to record or wasn't able to stay for shooting. But either way, I thought it was very surprising that they would just dump that, because he was such an integral character. Foggy Nelson was probably the third or fourth most important character next to Matt Wilson and Karen Page. But they killed him within the first 15 minutes. Shot by Bullseye. Bullseye's back. He went on just a seemingly random, but I imagine it will be explained later, killing spree in a bar. Killed 11 people, including Foggy Nelson. That was very surprising, very shocking, but didn't really know what to expect from that, because at that point, kind of oh. And in a way, I kind of feel that opening scene, even maybe not necessarily Foggy's death, but just that, not the opening scene, but the scene with the beginning where Bullseye just kills a bunch of people. I feel like that was kind of Disney's way of saying, wink, wink, we're not holding back. This is still the same Daredevil. Because I know people were worried that it was going to hold back because it was now a Disney thing. And people were worried that, it still might say the F word, but it's not going to be the same, gritty, violent, and, you never know who's going to die, like the first Daredevil. But no, they did not hold back. They killed some people. They killed them good. There was just quite a lot of random deaths. The Bullseye just killed civilians because he because he just felt like it. I'm assuming there's a bigger reason for it. And then they killed the main character immediately. And I wasn't expecting the time lapse they hit you. They hit you with a 1 year later, immediately after. They skip the funeral, they skip everything. It's just the straight into 1 year later, which was not expected. I kind of do wish they went more into like the funeral, but I get why they didn't. New characters. There is a therapist who's now Matt's thing. They gave each other the lip lock at the very end of the first episode. I guess like a Karen Page replacement. I don't know if she's still going to be a main character, or if she like is gone for good. I imagine she'll come back in some form. Let's see, what else is there. There is some like ex-cop, like a cop who retired, who seems to be like an investigator now, named Cherry. He seems really cool. I like him a lot already, and he just appeared. Like him a lot. Benjamin Poindexter, Bullseye, is back. I think he was a really, really good show of a psychopath or a sociopath during the last show, and again here, this one, I thought he did a really good job of being insane, showing no remorse, locked up for life. What was really interesting to me was Vanessa, Kingpin's now wife. Especially one part in particular, which I'll get to. But firstly, she seems a lot more evil now. In the first show, Vanessa was very, she definitely was still evil. She definitely was still, like, she knew what Wilson was doing. She was not a good person by any means. But she seemed kind of like, almost like she could pretend that she didn't know. But in this one, not at all. She takes a front row seat. She took over in Wilson's stead while he was gone. Basically whipped the crime into shape. And now he's back, and they seem very tense. I didn't think they would be. I figured that they would be, in each other's arms, just going at it. And the interesting thing that I feel that I hope is touched on more is Adam, this mysterious Adam. They don't go into who it was, but at the very, very end of the first episode, Wilson mentions that he knows about Adam, and Vanessa says, "Don't kill him." And Wilson says that he's not that man anymore, and he promises not to kill him. So Vanessa cheated on Wilson with this Adam person, which I think is very interesting. I hope that they go into that further with her potential unloyalty to him as a wife, not necessarily as a crime partner, but as a wife. She seems distant, like she doesn't really care about him anymore, which, if I was writing the show, if it were my creative decision, I would have her start to, maybe she cheats every now and then, she doesn't like him, and he's just like trying to give that undying love, and she just doesn't really care anymore, and then that just causes him to snap, and maybe she dies, or maybe she just fully betrays him, and that just causes him to snap, and he goes full-blown Kingpin rather than just evil Wilson Fisk. But I imagine they'll go something like that, even if they don't go all the way with it. But I still really I enjoyed her back. I hope that they do good things with her and Wilson's dynamic. It was their relationship was such an integral part of what made Wilson Fisk so good in the first show. Because everything he did was for her. Everything he did was for Vanessa. He did everything for their relationship, and he was split between the two things: the love for Vanessa and the love for the city, or the love for Hell's Kitchen and New York. And a lot of the things that he did, they lined up. He could do for her and do for the city at the same time through illegal methods, but now he's trying to do things right, and it seems that she's the one bringing him back down, and I imagine he's going to have to choose between doing the right thing for the city or doing for her. And I think that's a very, very cool dynamic, and I really hope that they go further with that. What else is there? Action was great. Daredevil had some very, very good action in the first show, and no different. There's only one fight. It's between the Bullseye and Daredevil, and it's great. It's a good 5-minute fight, and they're fighting as they're scaling the building, and it ends with Matt just throwing Bullseye off the building. And I thought he died, but he didn't. He survived. It was so good. I think my favorite scene from the whole episode was the meetup at the diner. It was what was in all the trailers. Just seeing Matt and Wilson interact again, it was phenomenal. And it was shot very awkwardly on purpose, I think, because it was so tense. It was so these two people, they obviously despise each other, but they're both trying to be different. Matt's trying not to be Daredevil, Wilson's trying not to be Kingpin, but they both don't believe that each other can change. And excuse me, Lord, I feel that that's going to be a big component to this season, or to this show, is Daredevil fighting between Daredevil and Matt, and Kingpin fighting between Kingpin and Wilson, and neither of them believing that the other can change while trying to prove that they can. And I really, really look forward to that dynamic. That's all I can really think of off the top of my head that I can, truly, pin down. I looked it up. I was out of curiosity, and I saw this thing that said that it's not confirmed, but it's highly likely that Kingpin has autism. Just the way he moves, the way he has a little thing with his fingers. It reminds me of Gus Fring and how Gus Fring had OCD. I find it really interesting that those characters, they can have something defined, or have something that is a part of them that explains their characteristics without it just being a silly quirk that they have. The things that Wilson Fisk does, they kind of tie into, this is something that a lot of people with autism do. They have the angry ticks with their finger, or the nervous patting, like tapping the table, or the twitchy eyes, or the looking all around, and the OCD of always trying to look fancy and be your best. And I think it's really interesting, and I really liked how they handled that. So yeah, that's really about it. I look forward to the next episode, which I'll probably watch tomorrow, and I look forward to the rest of the show. And apparently they've already greenlighted season 2 for next year, which is really cool. I really hope Daredevil gets involved with the greater MCU more. I would love to see Daredevil interact with Spider-Man, or even Deadpool, in maybe Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars. I really look forward to how they interact, and how the greater universe deals with such a good character like Daredevil. He reminds me of Spider-Man in a way where he's really grounded in reality, more so, where not necessarily his powers and whatnot, but he fights street level criminals. His biggest threat that Daredevil's faced is the mayor of a city. That's nothing compared to Thanos or Doom or Kang the Conqueror or Galactus. And I really would like to see Matt Murdock, and how I want to see him battle his way through New York first, but I would like to see how he would handle something like Doom. But regardless, that's really my big thoughts on the first episode of Daredevil. Very good, very much enjoyed it. Give it 4.5 big booms out of the 5 booms. Look forward to the rest of it. Excuse me. Yeah, that's really about it. Hashtag Moon Knight Season 2, please. Moon Knight is the best Marvel show ever made. Yeah, that's about it. See y'all later. Thanks for watching. Whoopee.